Alright gang, welcome to CrossPoint Marine. Today we're doing a little instructional with our model Travis on how to assemble the CrossPoint hydraulic Series 7 and Series 9 hydraulic lifts. So if you'll notice, when you receive this thing packaged, it's pretty tight. It's just a little bit north of 4 feet wide and about 13 feet long. All of the componentry, your cross members, your hardware kit, your legs and everything are really nicely shrunk wrap on the inside of the carrier. So the first step is to unwrap all this stuff. As an aside, it does help to really expedite things if you have level flat ground and a forklift or a skid steer, what have you. That's going to really assist in helping all the holes and everything line up quickly. So we'll get all unwrapped and come back to the next step. All right, so now we've unwrapped everything from the carrier, the lift, and we've laid it out so you got an idea. Of course, you have the lift carrier and the long frame. Here you have nested, these are going to be your cross members. Then you have the 2x2 big feet with holes for pressure release when you want to take it out. 4 of the legs, mounting plates, those go toward on the other side of the cross members. And then you have your hardware. So the bolts, lock washers, regular washers are all for putting the actual cross member assembly in. And then legs and things that need easy adjustment we have these nice pins for. So everything accounted for, and also give you an idea once you receive your lift what to be looking for inside that package. All right. So the first step is going to be to align the cross members and get everything kind of all set up. As you can see here, we have the backer plates for the mounting the cross members onto the long beams. You got washers on those bolts. Then on the back side of them, you'll put another washer along with a lock washer, and then the nuts. So easier if it's all set up and ready to mount. All right, so Trav is lining everything up. Because the way that the CrossPoint lifts are built, all the holes and whatnot are done by a laser mapping. So everything should line up correctly. So he's got the 2 top bolts on there. Now we'll throw a washer and then a lock washer behind that. And then throw your nut on. People should be able to assemble one of these. 25 minutes or so, I think, is our probably our average without really trying to hustle. All right, my Trev's finishing up the bolts here. So we'll show you one thing. Our cross members happen to be just a little bit wider than the leg slats. So our general rule of thumb is to put the little extra on the inside. So aesthetically, from the outside looking in, we just think it looks a little better. Functionality wise, it does not make any difference. So this is the back of the lift. Another thing to consider, we recommend putting the bolts in from the outside, so your nuts and all the mounting hardware are on the inside. Again, it's just aesthetics, but you got a cool lift, you might as well put it together the right way. Okay, now that we have the first cross member mounted with the washers and the lock washers and whatnot, we're going to leave these hand tight just for now until we get the other end put on and make sure all the bolts and everything are aligning properly. Now we're working on the front end of the cross member, and due to the nature of the way the tight tolerances which these things are fabricated and welded and put together, sometimes in transport you have issues. So we're going to show you here, we got the one side on, and if you can see that, we're just missing by a little bit. So we'll show you how to get these things aligned properly, pretty quick and easy.
Rear cross member to line up properly, what we're going to do is take and loosen up this middle cross member. Here we've loosened up this bolt and nut just to the certain point where the lock washer is flexed out, and we're going to do the same thing on the rest of these.
Okay, with that minor loosening on the side brace cross member, it gets all these bolts to line back up. So we'll go through the process now of putting the backer plates on, and now we can actually tighten these guys up all the way. As far as tightening them, get them to the point where they're quite snug and that the lock washer is compressed, but no need to tighten them all the way to the point where you start bowing the aluminum and whatnot. Okay, so now that everything lined up, we took the impact wrench, tightened down those backer plates on the long cross members, and then last step here is we will tighten these guys back down. We failed to note it earlier, but we only did loosen up one side. There's really no reason to do 12 bolts, just these 6 on one side is perfectly adequate for what we're looking to do. So Trav will go ahead and tighten these guys back up, and we'll move to leg assembly. All right, cross members done. Next step is leg and foot assembly. So since CrossPoint, we use all pins for our leg height adjustments as well as the attachment of the feet. Pretty easy. So just position the foot right underneath the leg sleeve. Trav drops that adjustable foot down through. Throw that cotter pin inside, and you're good to go. And then we'll have multiple levels of adjustment. There you go. Travis, the leg expert. Okay, that concludes the majority of the basic frame assembly. So we went over cross member installation and adjustment if necessary. We did the legs, and now we will move on to hooking up the hydraulic system to our super powerful dual hydraulic ram setup. All right, next step in the process is assembling the hydraulic system. So we're showing you here what's going to come for the most part in the box. So in this nice looking box, you have the hydraulic pump, the reservoir, your positive and negative battery connections. Right here is your key fob transmitter, your wired pendant remote, along with the wireless key fob. They're going to come zip tied, so the hope is that everything stays together. Really high-powered solar panel for install at the time of actually install the leg. 4 of the L fittings and then 1 T fitting, and these are the fittings that are going to put together your 4 hoses that are going to come from the hydraulic rams and meet in the middle with to the T fitting. And then you have your 25-foot long hydraulic hoses that are going to run from the actual lift in the water up to the pump box. And these hoses are actually mesh braided together, so a really nice looking setup, and also functionality wise, you don't have tons and tons of hoses trying to go everywhere. So we'll put these together and start putting them on the lift.
So when you're attaching the hydraulic lines to the hydraulic cylinder is going to have this little red cap in here. What you want to do is you want to leave that cap in until you are ready to attach your lines. Well, so we'll remove this cap, then we have this 90-degree fitting with an O-ring boss on the bottom, and it has a jam nut. So this jam nut, I like to loosen it all the way up, and what that's going to do is allow us to tighten this 90 into the cylinder itself, just by hand. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna tighten it by hand, and then we're gonna throw a little bit more tight on it. And what you want with this top 90, or this top elbow, you want it to kind of face down towards the middle of the lift itself. Now that we have the top 90s attached to the cylinders, what we're gonna do is we're gonna line up this bottom one. We're gonna put a little bit more tightness on it. And what we wanna do here is we want it to create an X. Basically, you want this one to go towards the front, and this one to go towards the opposite front.
The elbows are pointing toward the center or in an X pattern.
We're going to attach these cross pieces to the top 90s on the top of the cylinder. What you're going to do is you're just going to attach them. You're going to leave them just finger tight for the time being. Same thing on this side. What you want to do is you want to make sure that everything has a nice long hoop to the middle, and that this T-fitting is pointing towards the back of the lift. Now we've completed the upper lines, we're going to do the same thing on the bottom lines. So we're going to attach to both cylinders, we're going to leave them finger tight. We're going to set this hoop up so it goes up towards the middle, but you also want this T to be facing towards the back of the lift. Everything in here is finger tight for the time being. So once we hook up our main lines, we can tighten everything down at that time. So when you grab your hoses, each hose is going to have this tape on it, or it's going to be just plain. And what I like to do is this hose with the tape on it is going to be your output side of the pump. What that means is the one with the tape on it is going to go to the bottom hydraulic line, because that's going to be your flow coming in and pushing fluid to the bottom side of the cylinder, which is going to run the rod out the top. So what we're going to do here is we're going to finger tight them for the time being. And then what I like to do is I like to take this one, run it underneath, take it up to the top, and finger tight that one. One other thing that I like to do when assembling is I like to run the hoses underneath this bottom frame. So when you do hook up the pump and you're running hydraulic fluid through there, there's no chance of the hydraulic hoses getting pinched by the cantilever action of the lift pump. So being that this one has a tape on it, and this is the outside or the output side of the pump, this is going to be your output side of the pump, and this has your female fitting on it. So that means that your male fitting needs to be attached here so they can join together. These ones you got to finger tighten at this time, and we are going to tighten them up before we attach everything. So in order to tighten the coupler fittings to the hoses, you can use either two 11/16 open-ended wrenches, or in my case, we'll just use a crescent wrench, 11/16. What you're going to do is just tighten those together, just like that. All the hydraulic lines attached, and they're just finger tight. Where we're going to start is we're going to start at the top. And you want to keep this shape in uniform the whole way through. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab 11/16. We're going to finger tighten this jam nut down, which it already is. And then what we're going to do is just tighten that down. Tight. Now we're going to go to the other side, finger tight that jam nut, tighten that one. And the reason we're doing it in this format is that you always want this U shape to stay uniform. Now that our 90-degree elbows, the jam nuts are tight on the top of the cylinders, what we're going to do is we're going to tighten up this fitting from the hose to the 90-degree elbow. This is a fitting that we have left finger tight, and now we have a system coming back through. We're going to tighten that down, come over to the other one, and do the same thing here. And at this time, during this whole process, you still want to contain this shape for the top and this shape for the bottom. It just looks better and gives it more of a uniform feel. Now that we've attached our upper hoses to our 90-degree elbows and everything in this system is tight, we're going to continue down to the bottom. These are all tightened, and now what we're going to do is tighten the bottom T. Now don't forget to attach or tighten this hose. And you're good to go. Now that we have all the hoses attached to the cylinders on the frame, we're going to take our ends, run them through the box here, and we're going to hand tighten. Now we're going to come back through with a 15/16 and a crescent wrench and tighten them the rest of the way. Now that we have everything attached and assembled, the next step is to put oil in the system. What you're going to want to do is remove this red cap and replace it with this black cap. After you have the system full of oil, this is where this black cap is going to go, and your red cap is going to go right here. Now that we've got our cap set up and our funnel in place, one thing you want to make sure is that your funnel is nice and clean so you don't get any contaminants in the system. What we're going to do is just start filling it up. And what you want to do is you want to fill up the reservoir all the way up to the top for the first go around. And what that'll do is the whole system will take most of the oil in it, and when that becomes out, then you're going to replace it with a little bit more oil. Now that we've got our reservoir completely full, what we're going to do is start running in up position. And then what you're going to do is cycle it up, and on your way up, it's going to run out of oil, so you're going to have to refill the reservoir. One thing that you want to think about is try not to run the reservoir fully out of oil before you stop. You can add oil in, then you're not circulating more air through the system. So we're going to run it up, we're going to run it down, and then we're going to run it all the way back up. The system ready to go with hydraulic oil in the reservoir. What we're going to do is we're going to run the lift in the up position. So what we're going to do is we're going to run it up, and the key is as you're running the lift up, you want to make sure not to run the reservoir fully out of oil. You want to stop before it gets all the way down to the bottom. That way you won't circulate more air into the system. So what we're going to do is run it in the up position all the way up. We're going to run it all the way down, then we're going to run it all the way back up again. Now we're going to run it down. time, back up. Upcycle of the lift for the initial run up, you're going to want to add some more fluid. And I usually take a gallon jug and fill it all the way up to the top at the very beginning, and then as you're running back through, you're going to fill it back up. And usually you're going to fill it up once or twice on the upcycle. The down cycle is going to supply fluid back into the reservoir, and then once you run it back up in the upcycle again, you might have to add just a little bit more. And at the end, once all the air is bled out, usually like to fill the reservoir halfway up, and that way everything is all set to go for your customer. When you're all done bleeding the system of air, when the lift is in all the way up position like it is right now, you're going to want to add some fluid to the reservoir so it's about halfway through the reservoir itself. That way the system's ready to go for your customer. And now we're putting together this lift. The remote fob is correct, where up is up, down is down. But in this system, the pendant is backwards. So up is actually going to make the lift go down, and vice versa. Down makes the lift go up. Please advise as to what we need to change. Alright, to disconnect the hydraulic hoses, obviously you're just going to go in the reverse, so power in to connect them. So we're going to loosen them up. As long as you break them loose with wrenches, you can loosen them up with your hands. So we're going to do the same on the other side. I like to attach them back together to themselves. And what you want to do is when you do this, you want to make sure that you tighten them back together. You don't want to just hand tighten them. What happens is the fluid will bleed out over time. So hand tighten them and then throw some wrenches on them and tighten them all the way up. When we have everything done, one thing you want to make sure is go back over and just connect all your, or double check all your fittings. And if any of these fittings are loose, you'll see oil will be on the cylinder. And it looks like going through all of our fittings, everything is good and ready to go.
Well, there you have it, a fully completed CrossPoint 7000 or 9000 series lift. We showed you how to do the basic assembly of the frame, how to put your legs and feet on, how to adjust everything, how to hook up all your hydraulic fittings, how the hydraulic lines should flow, how everything should look in the box, and then that section on how to actually charge your hydraulic rams so they're going to have fluid in them to push the rod back and forth. As you can see, this is in the up position, ready to rock and roll when we're not using the lift. Obviously, we've coiled up everything underneath the lift and on the crossbeam in anticipation to travel. So now push it into the wig, carry it into the leg, have your installer put it in. It's ready to go. So thanks for watching. Give us a buzz if you have anything, and check out www.crosspointmarine.com. See ya.